Hello! Today's practice is going to be a little bit different than what we are used to, so we will be going about it in a slightly different way. The first thing will be, before we get going with the practice, I will walk you through one of the options that you can take during our resting pose, or maybe right before entering into the resting pose. But instead of getting through all of our gentle movement, gentle asana, and then kind of switching it up and teaching something that we haven't done before, I thought that maybe getting the teaching part done at the beginning might be the best option. The other thing I would like to discuss is the props that I have here. The props are not a necessity. They might just be something that might be nice for you to have if you would like. I have a couple of my blankets here that I plan to use to kind of prop under my knees when we are in our reclined cobbler's pose. I will be folding them like this. So if you have something about like that, a pillow, a couple of books, whatever is around that you would like to use, I would invite you to grab that. Now the other thing before you go is also I have this nice fuzzy comfy blanket here that I plan to use in supported child's pose. Again, not a necessity, but if you have a nice fluffy blanket or a pillow or something, I would invite you to go grab that now before we begin. I'm going to set myself off to the side here, and then we will go ahead right now and discuss something that is called legs up the wall. I'm pretty sure that you can see this corner right here, so I'm going to demonstrate legs up the wall here in this corner. I'm going to bring this blanket with me, not a necessity. Again, some people just like to have something like this propped up underneath their hips for comfort in the legs up the wall position. So what we do here is, it's kind of pretty self-explanatory, I suppose. We can get our sit bones close to the wall, as close to the wall as is comfortable. Some people like to closer than others. I kind of got my blanket a little far there, so I gotta work my way back into it. And then we put our legs up the wall. We can have a bend in the knees. Oops, sorry, I keep scooting that blanket closer. We can have that bend in the knees. We can even bring our feet to the wall at some point in time. If sometimes this becomes too much, we want a little bit of comfort, we can walk the feet down here. Again, my sit bones are probably about 6 inches from the wall right now. I could move them closer if I would like, but I do not have to. I also do not need to have this blanket if I do not wish to. So this is an option here. Some people choose to do this for their entire Shavasana, the resting pose. Some people maybe like to come into it for a minute or two before then moving into their resting Shavasana pose. So that will be your personal choice, personal preference. And now we will go ahead and begin. We'll actually begin in our seated position today. So I would invite you to find a nice comfortable seated position, perhaps by bringing a couple of blankets or so underneath your hips to help get those hips nice and elevated. Coming into either a cross-legged position here, or perhaps bringing the palms of the feet together. Don't forget the cozy socks if you have some cozy socks to help get you in the relaxation zone. We'll take a couple of moments here to check in with our breathing, making sure we're taking those nice big inhales and complete exhales, and really doing our best in this moment to connect with our breathing, connect with our practice, do our best to allow whatever was going on in our day, whatever happened in our day, to melt away. Tomorrow is another day, but tonight is tonight. Let's live in this moment and relax and breathe here. Perhaps closing our eyes if we feel comfortable, relaxing our jaw, shoulders melting away from our ears, taking those big inhales and complete exhales. And next time we come into an inhale, we'll bring our chest forward slightly, finding a little bit of an arch in the back here, gaze slightly towards the ceiling. Exhale, rounding our back, beginning at our tailbone, rounding that tailbone first, allowing the rest of our back to follow one vertebrae at a time. And then our gaze drifts towards the floor. Inhaling in, bringing that chest back forward, finding that little bit of an arch here in our back. Exhale, rounding the back. Moving through this just a few more times, really allowing your breath to guide the movement. Again, seeing if you notice if maybe you've furrowed your brow or tightened your jaw again. Relaxing the facial features, relaxing your expression. Maybe even smiling a little bit. And then next time we find ourselves coming through that neutral position with our spinal column, we'll find that moment of pause. As we inhale in, we'll send our fingertips up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, stretching a little bit here towards the left, lateral bend, reaching those right fingertips over towards the left. Inhale, coming back to center, fingertips up. Exhale, lateral bend to the right. Inhaling in back to center. This time coming into that lateral bend on the left, maybe pausing here for a breath or two. Big inhales. Complete exhales. Shoulders melting away from the ears still. Inhaling in, we'll come back to center. And exhale. Over to the right, right fingertips towards the floor. Taking those big inhales, complete exhales. Inhaling in, we'll come back to center. Exhale, returning our hands to our knees. And then moving through a few more of those seated cat-cows here. So inhaling in as the chest comes forward, a little arch in the back. Exhale, rounding the back. Inhaling, arching. Exhale, rounding the back. Let's do it one more time. Big inhaling as the chest comes forward, finding that slight arch. Exhale, rounding the back, gaze melts towards the floor. And next time we come through that center position, we'll find that moment of pause. And then taking our time, making our way onto our hands and knees here. Coming into our tabletop position and finding some comfort in that tabletop position. On our hands and knees, tops of our feet pressing into the mat. And working through a few of our cat-cows here, we begin with that nice straight line from the crown of our head to the tip of our tailbone. And as we inhale in, the tailbone tilts towards the ceiling. And then our back begins to find that arch here as well. And then the crown of our head will rise towards the ceiling as well, just slightly. And as we exhale, tailbone melts towards the mat, the crown of our head melts towards the mat as well, finding that rounding of the back. Moving through this a few times here. Following your own breath, your own pace. And the next time we find ourselves moving through cow pose, which is where we have the crown of the head towards the ceiling, tail towards the ceiling. As we exhale, we'll round that tailbone, send that tailbone down towards the mat. Also shifting our sit bones back towards our heels, coming onto our elbows into a child's pose. Inhaling in, we'll bring ourselves back up, coming through that tabletop position, coming into our cow. And exhale again, rounding the back, sending our sit bones coming back into child's pose onto our elbows. Taking our time. Inhaling in, we'll come back up to that tabletop position. This is where I would invite you to perhaps reach for that nice cozy blanket or pillow, getting it into a right way for you, whichever way works. Bring it right here in between our knees, maybe a little bit back towards our inner thighs there. And then we'll come into child's pose of our choosing. So for our child's pose, our knees can be spread wide. It might help to spread them wide if you have something that you're bringing into your practice here. And then we'll bring our belly down towards that pillow or blanket or towards the mat. And again, we can walk those hands out overhead if it feels good, or we can bring our hands around our pillow or blanket here as we come into this child's pose. We'll be here for a few breaths. I really invite you to find some comfort. If you get here and you realize that maybe this blanket wasn't quite fluffy enough, you don't feel quite as supported as you would like, I invite you to bring some more support. Whatever feels best for you, continuing to take those big inhales and complete exhales. Again, noticing if you've clenched your jaw, allowing it to relax, allowing your tongue to move away from the roof of your mouth, relaxing the muscles in your forehead, feeling your body just melt into the mat here. Allowing your mind to focus on your breathing and how you feel in your body in this moment. And the next time we come into an inhale, we'll slowly bring ourselves back up to our tabletop, and then taking our props, if we have them, off to the side here, and coming onto our sit bones in the center of our mat. We're going to work our way down to a flat back position, however you'd like to get there. Be coming onto the forearms and the elbows, and then all the way down onto our backs. Keeping the palms of our feet pressing into the mat here. Still taking those nice big inhales and complete exhales. We bring our hands to our bellies, giving our bellies a little rub. And we come into our next exhale, we'll slowly bring one knee in towards our chest and bring the other knee in as well. And finding a little bit of a rocking motion here from side to side. Inhaling to one side, exhaling to the other, really taking our time, enjoying this movement, allowing our breath to guide us. And then finding some stillness when we move through that center position, bringing the palms of our hands to the insides of our knees. As we inhale, and we'll send our knees off to the sides. And then just bringing the palms of our hands to the backs of our thighs today. And playing around here in this version of Happy Baby, instead of making it nice and deep by grabbing our toes, we'll just keep our hands on the backs of our thighs. Maybe sending one leg out straight at a time on an inhale. Exhale as we bring it back in, and then sending out the other on an inhale. Maybe sending them both out, whatever feels good. We'll just be here for a couple of breaths. Taking those nice big inhales. Complete exhales, checking in with our jaw, checking in with the muscles of our face, keeping them relaxed. Maybe keeping our eyes closed if it feels good. And on our next exhale, we'll bring our heels back in, bring our knees back together, and then send the palms of our feet down to the mat. This is where I would invite you, if you have those blankets close by, if you would like to use them, I will fold mine up like this and bring them to where the outsides of your knees will be resting in our reclined cobbler's pose. We can make adjustments if we need to, just making your best guess. And bringing the insteps of your feet together. And while moving through this, finding a comfortable position for your arms, whether that's resting them on your bellies or perhaps sending those arms out to a T, whatever feels right. We'll take a big inhale in And as we exhale, sending the right knee off to the right side. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, sending the left knee off to the left side. And taking our time here. Inhaling to the center, exhaling to the sides, switching sides with each exhale. And after that, next time, we've done our left knee out to the side. When we bring that left knee back to the center, since we started on the right, as we exhale, allowing both knees to melt off to their respective sides. Maybe adjusting the blankets if you have them, or pillows, whatever you have there. If you did not have blankets or pillows, we can always bring the palms of our hands to the outsides of our thighs to offer a little bit of support. If you enjoy the stretch and would like the deep stretch, I would invite you to remove the props if you have them and offer your hands on the insides of your thighs here. Still taking those nice big inhales and complete exhales. Again, checking in with the muscles of our face. If we've noticed any tension has settled in, allowing it to melt away. Feeling our shoulder blades melting into the mat, shoulders away from our ears. Closing our eyes if it feels right. Softening our gaze if we would prefer. Continuing to breathe here. Big inhales, complete exhales. Then next time we feel ourselves coming into an inhale, we can bring our hands to the outsides of our thighs and help bring those knees back together. Taking a big inhale in. And as we exhale, bringing one knee in towards our chest and then the other. Moving through a few Apanasana here as we inhale and pressing the knees away from our body slightly. Exhale, drawing the knees back in. Again, moving through this a few times here, following your own breath, your own pace, taking our time. And next time we find ourselves coming into an inhale, we'll slowly bring first one foot to the mat, then the other, and then sending our legs out long. And here's where I would invite you to take that legs up the wall position if you would like for a few minutes. The legs up the wall can become your Shavasana, or you can do it for a couple of minutes before moving into your Shavasana. Once I finish speaking, the video will end, but I do invite you to continue resting here for the next several minutes. Maybe fall asleep here if you're doing this right before bed. You could even move into your bed to do your Shavasana there. Wherever we're at, we will do a quick full body scan here. At the beginning of the practice, we did our best to allow whatever had happened to us in today, during today, whatever stress we might be carrying from the day. We did our best to allow it to melt away. Perhaps it snuck back in to our minds while we were practicing. So let's do our best to allow it to melt away again. And feeling those shoulder blades melting into the mat, shoulders melting away from the ears. Starting at our toes, feeling our toes relax. All of our toes. And then traveling that feeling up towards the center of our foot, feeling all those muscles relaxing. And our ankles as well. Noticing up through our calves, how they feel, and allowing those muscles to relax. Also, the knee joints releasing tension, moving up through our thighs as they relax. Our hips melting into the mat. Feeling our belly release. Allowing that breath to return to its nice, natural, neutral resting state. Relaxing our shoulders, feeling our neck muscles relax as well. Unclenching our jaw, allowing our tongue to move away from the roof of our mouth. Closing our eyes if we have not already done so. Feeling our forehead, our brow unfurl. And resting here and breathing.